Hi and welcome back. This will be our fourth crochet class if you've been following along. If not, and this is your first uh, visit with me, welcome. Today we are going to talk about increases and decreases in your crochet work. What this will do is help you make patterns and give shape to things like hats and stuffed animals. So it's not challenging. You guys have been with me from the first lesson, then you already know the stitches. But it's I need to show you what it means so that when you see it in a pattern, you'll know what it means to increase and decrease. So give me a second and I'll be right back and we'll get started. Okay, so to explain increases and decreases, what I've done is I have made myself 2 rows of 20 single crochet stitches. So there's a foundation chain and there's 2 rows of single crochet stitches. If you want to know how to do this, you need to go back to our first lesson to see how I got this. I did this because I wanted to show you increases and decreases. It's just easier to see on a row than in the chain stitches. You would do them the same in the chain stitches as you would do any other stitch between the loops, and then these are underneath the stitches just like we did with changing any kind of row. So I have 2 rows of 20. I have my chain stitch. I'm going to make 1 single crochet here on the end, so I'm not showing you how to do this with an end stitch. It's not any different. I just think it's easier for you to see it. So there we go. I've made a single crochet. So as the name sounds, increases and decreases are pretty much exactly what they sound they are like. An increase adds stitches to the number of stitches you have in a row. A decrease takes away stitches. It combines 2 stitches into 1. So I'll show you the increase first, which is actually really simple. An increase, all you're doing is you're making more than 1 stitch in a crochet stitch. So for a single crochet and I increase, I'm going to make a stitch just like I normally do with a single crochet, and then I'm going to make another one in the same hole. Let me show you again. In the same stitch. I'm going in the same stitch and I'm making it there. So I've made 2 stitches in this 1 stitch. 9 times out of 10 an increase is going to be 2 stitches unless your pattern says otherwise, and it won't say increase. It may say single crochet 3 single crochets into the next stitch. So it would, in that case, it would be 1, 2, 3, and my yarn is getting a little tangled up. Like that. You can increase any kind of stitch. You can increase a half double crochet stitch like this. And check your pattern. Every pattern maker calls things differently. They may say half double crochet increase, which would just be 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. So it's 2 stitches. You're making more stitches than you had before. That's what an increase means. A decrease is the opposite. You're taking away stitches from your total number of stitches in your row. So in this case, I'm going to take 2 stitches. I'm going to make a single crochet just to kind of get away from the increase. Oh my gosh, this yarn is just pulling on my fingers today. I don't know why. So I'm going to take these 2 stitches here and I'm going to make them, I'm going to stitch them together to have 1 stitch in the row that I'm working on. This one's a little more complicated, and just follow along. It's not hard, but it's a little more complicated than an increase. So I'm going to start my decrease single crochet just like I would a regular single crochet. So under the stitch, hook the yarn, pull up. I have 2 loops. Then I am going to go into the next stitch like I'm making a single crochet, hook the yarn, pull up. I have 3 loops. I'm going to hook the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. So what I've done is I've taken these 2 stitches from the previous row and I've combined them to make 1 stitch in this row. So I'm taking away a stitch from the total number in the row. Why do you need increases and decreases? Okay, in flat work, like this is flat, you would use these to make a pattern, like a chevron pattern or a shell stitch. The shell stitch definitely uses increases. The chevron uses decreases and increases. Chevron, it makes that up and down pattern. You've seen blankets Probably you may have one in your house that's an up and down blanket, and that's called a chevron pattern. There's dozens of chevron patterns on the internet. You can look, but there are increases and decreases. One note is that a decrease sometimes will be called single crochet 2 together or double crochet 2 together. I'm not going to show you anything but the single crochet decrease, because the half double crochet decrease and the double crochet decrease are a little more complicated. I want you to get the hang of putting 2 stitches together first. So again, I'll show you the decrease. Go under the stitch, your first stitch, pull it up like that, like you're going to make a single crochet. Stop right there, go into the next stitch, hook it, pull it up, and then hook your yarn and pull through all 3 loops to finish the stitch. There's other ways that I've seen it done called an invisible decrease, but let's work with this one for now since this is a beginner stitch. Decrease. And again, you're going to check your pattern to see whether they call it single crochet 2 together or a decrease. Every pattern maker is different, but if they say that, they may describe it to you and it'll be exactly the same. So I'm pulling, I use decrease and increase a lot when I'm making the stuffed animals, because shrinking the row here, it makes it shape. It gives it shape. You can see I've already sort of pulled this together. So increase is adding stitches, decrease is taking stitches away by crocheting 2 stitches together. You're not skipping stitches. Skipping stitches, you may have to skip a stitch in a pattern, but it'll say skip stitch. It will not ever say decrease, will never mean you're skipping a stitch. You're stitching 2 stitches together. Increase is you're adding 2 stitches in one space. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to everybody. So practice increasing and decreasing, and we will be back with another lesson next time. If you like these lessons, please make sure to click like. If you want to not miss any more, please be sure to click the subscribe button that you will see. Have a great day and happy crocheting. Bye.